Hello, everybody. I am live for the first time in goodness knows how long. I'm in a hotel at the moment. And the reason I am going live is because there is a new social network launching, OMG. Now, I've been a beta tester for social networks since there have been social networks. I was a beta tester if you're American, for Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, all of them. Also for tons of social networks you've never heard of. And the reason you've never heard of them is because unless they were good, I didn't share them with you, and some of them not so good. I've also looked at all of the different social networks that have the potential to earn money on the networks as well, and they've all seemed super scammy to me. So this is the first time that I have seen something that addresses the issue that we all have, particularly post-Cambridge Analytica, of actually networking on a social network. So that whole thing that Facebook does where it says, unless you're a blood relative, you can't reach out to someone, that is a problem if you are a network marketer, if you're an affiliate marketer, if you're anybody trying to build a business that's kind of a people business, which basically all businesses are. It's really hard to do that online now, unless you're doing paid ads. So I found one where you can do that, which is awesome. It's like a kind of hybrid between Facebook and LinkedIn. If you go to my Twitter account and look at the pinned tweet, you will find the link for it. I've also put the URL for my Twitter account in this thing. I'll tell you why I'm doing that, because there are 100,000 people in this social network, and it's doubled apparently in the last month, which means that is going to be nerve-wracking for Facebook. So I don't really want to be putting too many links here because Facebook's probably going to freak out. So if you go to Twitter doesn't have a problem with it. You go to Twitter, go to my pinned tweet, and you'll find the link for this thing. It is an invite-only beta right now, okay? So it's in invite-only beta. What is going on with my hair? I do not know. It's in invite-only beta, which means you can only get in through someone who's already in there. It's free, like any social network. But here is the thing with it that is super awesome. Well, there's a bunch of things that are super awesome. One of them is whenever there is a decent social network, you want to be there first, because even if there's 100,000 people in there, they've got their accounts, they're not doing anything with them. I'm like one of the only people in there doing content marketing. People just grab their accounts and they're not doing anything. So if you are a smart marketer, if you understand attraction marketing, you want to be in there now. Just an indication of how fast this thing is growing. I have I've literally been in there for a few hours. I joined yesterday afternoon. I played around with it for a few hours, and I've played around with it for a couple of hours today, and I already have 27, I haven't actually checked, it's probably over 30 now, 27 people in my kind of team in there. Now, the reason I say team, you don't have to build teams or anything, it's just a social network. But what is going to happen when it launches is they are bringing in the ability to get paid for a commission on anyone who came in through your link who then advertises there. So if you think of like Facebook, how many people run Facebook ads at this point? If you imagine that somebody that you brought into Facebook, when they started doing Facebook ads, Facebook paid you a commission. That is the model that this company is setting up, because they basically worked out how much the different networks get for each person that they bring in, and they didn't think it was fair that we're not getting paid for that, and they want people to be more invested in the business. So the people who come in as beta testers can get up to 50% commissions on people spending money on ads. There's also going to be a marketplace in there. There's a directory in there. There's all kinds of stuff in there, and there's loads of different ways in which they could be paying you commission over the long term. That's not necessarily why to get in. That's just a cool extra thing. I would get in because it's a new social network and it's good and it's nice and straightforward. And also you can do some cool things in there that you can't do on other social networks. For example, you can, it's kind of like LinkedIn, but more fun. You can put portfolios and stuff up there. So you can say, for example, if you're a photographer and you want to put up loads of examples of your work, you can do that. If you want to put up, if you want to do video marketing there, you can do it. If you want to put chapters of your book up there, you can upload kind of PDFs and stuff like that and share them in the stream. You're going to be able to do Groupon type deals there. They've got a bunch of different big companies who are already on board with them to do advertising, including people like Walmart. So it's a big deal. They've invested $6.5 million in it. Years of research and stuff, and this is really, like, I've been waiting for something like this to come along for so many years, and this is the first thing that I've seen that is, it actually makes sense. The business plan makes sense. They actually have offices and staff and have had for a long time. That's something that always worries me. Like when I don't know if you remember Rippling. I hated the concept of that. It freaked me out. Did not like that at all. And everyone was all over it, like, oh, you've got to join because it's gonna, we're gonna put products and stuff, and there was no real idea of what it was, but everyone wanted to be involved with it. And then I looked into the company, and they didn't even have a headquarters. They didn't have offices. They didn't have, staff particularly. It was just the most ridiculous situation. And there have been various different companies that have come up that have done the same thing. They've got the idea of, people are not, it's harder to market on Facebook and so on if you're a network marketer. So we're going to put together a thing that is for marketers, and we're going to get people all psyched up about it. But when you look at the business plan, there's no business plan. There's no investment. There's no anything. It's just, hey, hype all your friends and get them to hype all their friends to be in this thing. And it's like, well, what's the thing? Give me the freaking thing. Where's the business plan? Where's the privacy policy? Where's anything that makes any sense to me? Because I know if it's free, just like Facebook, if it's free, we're the product, right? I'm not, share the negative side of it. Whenever you're doing social media marketing, there is a degree to which you're the product. So I want to know, like, what is the privacy policy with this? What control do I have? And it turns out tons. And you can share stuff as well on there. You can share things publicly, but you can also tag people, not tag people. I mean, you can tag people in your post so they see stuff, but you can tag them like you can in something like Infusionsoft. So you can tag people as prospects. You can tag people as super interested prospects. You can tag people as messes me around, never gets back to me. You can tag people as whatever you want. And you can look at the stream, your news stream, based on that. So you could put in, say, for example, you're in a bunch of different businesses and you have a whole bunch of prospects. And if you get in early as well, because of the social media thing, you're getting in early, you're going to end up ultimately with tons of followers, because this is about to go super viral any second. I would argue it already is, like, at that point, if it's doubled in the last month and there's 100,000, it's going to get to 1 million pretty quick. So, I've completely lost track of what I was saying just then. If anyone remembers, just write me a little note there. Oh, yes, I know. Looking at people. So you can, if you've got a whole bunch of different prospects, and let's say you're in a bunch of different businesses. So you have your network marketing business, and you're also a coach, and you have an affiliate deal, and you sell handmade stuff on Etsy. You can separate things so that you are just looking at your Etsy people because you've got this thing that you've made and you want people to know about it, or you're just looking at your network marketing people, and you're not kind of bothering anyone who is not in your market with that message. So it's like super granular, really niche. There's obviously, it's still in beta, so there's a bunch of stuff that you need to be aware of when something's in beta. So for example, at the moment, they don't have a block function. I've asked them to bring that forward as much as possible, as soon as possible, because I think that's kind of an important thing. But then Google Plus didn't have that at the beginning either, and a bunch of other places don't. Generally speaking, when I'm in beta, there's a bunch of those functionalities that aren't there, but actually a lot of the functionality you'd expect is there already. And it's a really great bunch of people, and it's really good to get in at the beginning of these things because you also get a really good relationship with the people behind them. So for instance, when I was doing the beta testing for Google Plus, as a consequence of doing that, aside from any business I made, which I did tons of business just from being there early because I got so many followers and then I got verified. Then that led to me being verified on YouTube, and various other things happened. My SEO got improved and all the rest of it. But I also ended up making friends with directors and then vice presidents of Google, which subsequently led to me being able to do crazy stuff. Like, for example, you owe me for this if you're in the home business industry. Google, and I was under NDA, I'm not under NDA anymore, and they gave me a certain amount of leeway on being able to tell people about this, because I did an article on it. So hopefully they're not going to sue me for, it was a long time ago. But basically, there was a point where Google was going to kick all network marketers off all of their stuff. YouTube, Google Plus, Google, like, they'd had enough of you guys. They were so done. It was ridiculous. And the thing that actually triggered this was somebody who, back in the day, I helped with some stuff, and this guy had this thing that he's still teaching. Do not listen to this because it will get you kicked off Google. He was teaching people that if they go to an event, that they can immediately make a course based on that and charge people for it and not give attribution. If they read a book, it's kind of theirs, and they can. So it was basically copyright theft. And because this person's super influential and loads of people duplicate what he does, this was causing Google a major problem with copyright issues, because the people who get essentially sued would be Google when that kind of stuff happens. So this annoyed them so much, they closed his account down. He subsequently went and said, you know, it's because they got false flagged, and like, that's not what happened. They closed his account down because of copyright in you know, problems. I went in and fought for him and said, look, you please, this is a good guy. Like, he's like awesome in terms of the stuff that he does for the industry, and he teaches lots of people. And I said, look, he's a really good guy, and I'm sure he's not doing this on purpose. And they basically said, we don't care, because he's telling all these people to duplicate. They're duplicating. The copyright infringements are so massive, it's not worth our while to have home businesses on here anymore. We're going to just shut the whole thing down. Like, none of you can make YouTube videos, none of you can do anything. And I had this moment, this is kind of a off topic, but I'll get back in a minute, because this is why you need to be involved with things early on, because the contacts you make are crazy. But there was this moment where I realized, OMG, I'm actually the only person in the home business industry who has the ears of Google. Because I spoke to them about meetings they were having and all the rest of it, and it became really clear. I was like, I'm the only one talking to you, aren't I, to defend the home business industry. Everyone else, they all kind of voted on it, and they were like, yeah, kick them out. It's what benefit are they to us anyway? Screw them, kick them out. And I spoke to one of the vice presidents of Google, and I said, please, you know, can you have a meeting about this? Can you not kick the home business industry off Google? Please indicate with some hearts or something how big of a deal it is that you did not get kicked off Google, because I fought for you. So I realized, even though I'm kind of shy and everything, that I was the only voice at that point who could speak to them and they would listen to me. And so I fought super, super hard, not just for this one individual to get his YouTube account back, but for the whole industry not to be closed down. And eventually I managed to get them down from, we're kicking the whole lot of you off and you're never back, to we'll age gate things. So quite often, if a bunch of people flag things, or if we see anything that looks spammy, or if we see anything that looks like copyright infringement or whatever, the first thing we'll do is we'll age gate things, and then people can appeal. They were not going to do that. You are all going to be out. You are all going to be out because of this whole Duplicate it. It doesn't, you don't have to give attribution. Please give attribution. If you've gone to an event, you have to give attribution. If at the event they say you do not have permission to share this with people or sell products based on it or create a book around it, don't do it because it's not legal. So anyway, the point is, if I hadn't been at the beginning in the pre-launch, in the invite-only beta of Google Plus, I would not have got to know the vice president, who then became a really good friend of mine, of Google, who was then able to have meetings about this. They had meetings specifically about this. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the thank you. They had meetings about this at Google HQ, and I had to write a whole report on why they had to not kick us out. And they basically did, well, Rebecca's all right, so we'll trust her kind of thing on the home business industry, and then kind of softened things a little bit. So that would never have happened. It wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been there at the beginning. Just wouldn't have happened. So you have no idea what you're missing out on if you're not in at the beginning of a social network. If you imagine if you've been in at the very beginning of Facebook, you would be friends with Zuckerberg now. You just would, because there's hardly anyone there at the beginning who was active. So they might have got into their, got their name or whatever, but they weren't super active. The people who are active, they're now personal friends of his. Do you think that helps them? Yes, just a little bit. So anyway, the link, if you go into my details here, just go to my Twitter, go to the pinned post, grab that, get in, and I will see you in there. Bye for now.